Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Mafex X-Men Weapon X Age of Apocalypse version. I'm going to call him Wolverine throughout the review. I don't know if he ever goes by Wolverine during this particular run, but that's what I'm going to call him because I don't want to say Weapon X over and over again. And he really is Wolverine, even if he's not wearing the costume. That's what I say. I'm wrong. I don't care. That's what I'm going to call him. So this figure, I want to be clear. I think I agree with most of you in that most of the AOA designs are terrible, and I'm not particularly fond of this one. I don't think it's one of the worst ones, but I'm not a huge fan of it. I say that to let you know I have no particular bias toward this figure. I have to say, though, I think it's a pretty strong release from Mafex. There's a lot of things on here that I like a bunch. It's not a perfect figure. We're going to review it like normal, but I'm quite pleasantly surprised with this one, especially for being a design I don't really care for. I have no inclination for liking it, but I like it anyway. So anyway, let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. Alrighty, before we look at the figure, let me show you my package. Good package, I like it. I like the red and blue transition. It matches the figure well enough. Artwork up here does show us that the figure's not accurate, which is always the case. I don't know why they do that. Here's another shot and another piece of artwork to show us that it's even less accurate. There's so much hair missing. I don't mind. I think they did a good balance with the figure. But if you are like, no, I wanted that, you are perfectly fair to say that. That is fair. I will be reviewing this guy also. Like I said, AOA designs, I think this is by far the worst design ever. And I know there's someone out there who likes this Cyclops, and hey, that's fine. I'm going to review it fairly. You will get to see if it's a good figure. But boy, is that the least good look for Cyclops I've ever encountered. Alright, so here he is, Mr. X, Mr. Wolverine. He is in stock at Big Bad Toy Store. If you want to get one, I'll put a link in the description below. He stands to the top of his hair about 6 inches. His head probably closer to like, I don't know, 5 5/8, give or take. That's going to make him about, let's say, 14.3 and then 15.2. Here he is up against the Marvel Legends Darwin. So he's a little big, I would say, but Wolverine usually is. And here he is up against the fairest comparison I can make. He's probably a little tall, but he almost always is. And if people love to complain about Wolverine heights, if he actually was made to be 5'3", the figure would look straight up goofy. Just like Wolverine did most of the time, and why they continue to skew him taller and taller and taller. Now, before we get into the review, I want to show you one thing just because I feel like doing it and I think you guys might appreciate it. This is the MVC Marvel Legends Wolverine, which I just adore the look of this figure. Surprisingly, now the head won't fit, you'll have to modify it, but I leaned the ball peg back to show you. This head actually looks, and there's no reason to do this other than it's kind of cool looking. It makes no sense, I know. The head actually fits on here and looks pretty nice if you actually can get it to seat. Obviously we can't do that properly, so I just have it leaned back. But let me try the other one, maybe that'll fit better. It actually looks kind of cool. I think that's kind of a cool look. I just wanted to throw that out there because I like to bring that figure out when I get a chance. Okay, so let's talk about this question of the day. Do you like AOA designs? All of them? None of them? Some of them? Let me know. For me, Nightcrawler, Iceman, great designs, particularly Iceman. The rest of them, I don't care. Well, I can't think of any right now that I actually like other than those two. Okay, so let's talk about this. He's shiny. His blue parts are shiny, and is it supposed to look like patent leather or something like that? Spandex, shiny spandex? You could argue it. It's clearly intentional, I guess, because his skin tones are not, which actually makes the figure look really nice. I love varied finishes, and his skin tones are a nice flat finish up against this glossier blue. It looks great. This guy doesn't have that. This guy has basically the same flat finish everywhere, so I'm not sure how you guys are going to feel about that. As a standalone thing, I think this guy looks great. Do their suits need to match? I don't think so. I think it's fine. I love the way this looks. There's also shading throughout the blue and shading throughout the skin tones. This is easily one of the best looking, in terms of the paint job, best looking Mafex figures. And I happen to think the sculpt is also really nice. I love the anatomy on the torso, even his little stumpy legs. I think he looks really good. His proportioning is not bad. He's not pushed as far stylistically as the source material. His hair isn't crazy. He's not super thick and squat, but I think this looks pretty damn good. The red paint job for the stripes, very clean. The silver is metallic. The shading throughout really sells it. And I think the hair and the face looks really, really nice for what it is. Not the source material. Still think it's goofy, but I think this looks pretty darn good. Maybe he's less feral looking, and you could argue that for sure. But I think he looks nice, and they did the hair the way I prefer it, which is just throw some paint on there. If you were going to go for a comic style paint job, which these should all have, I think, this is the way to do it. It's not sculpted, it's just some black lines, and I think that looks exactly like what it needs to look like if you insist on putting hair on the figure. I'm perfectly happy with this figure aesthetically. I don't have any issues really to point out, other than you could say he's glossy and things like that. But if you're accepting that, it looks pretty darn good. Like, it's very well proportioned. It's one of their better looking figures that they've ever released. Surprisingly. It's very nice. I'm glad I decided to review these because I was just going to pass on the AOA stuff. I like it a lot. It looks really good. That's just as a reviewer, not necessarily me personally, but me personally too. I'm going to go 9 out of 10 for the aesthetic. I love the subtle shading throughout the blue and the skin tones. It really makes the figure pop. Now, as far as accessories go, you already saw we have some different heads. We have 3 total heads. They all look really nice. No issues there. The yelling head is particularly well done. Oftentimes these days we get yelling heads where it looks like they're just yawning or taking a bite. This has the purple. Wow. The proper... The proper scrunching around the nose and the brow and the mouth looks right. It's pretty good looking. That's nice. For hands, don't have a huge assortment. We have claw hands for either side and then one loose hand. That's it. That is it for accessories other than the display stand. So it's pretty paltry. It'll do, and they look nice. We have the curvy claws, but they are nice and metallic and straight in terms of side to side in terms of placement. So if you don't like curvy claws, you're out of luck. But otherwise, it's good. Low accessory count though, so I'm just going to go 7 out of 10 because it's reasonable for this character, but you could always have more, I think. Alright, also he's missing a fist hand. Haha, that was a joke. Okay, so let's move on to the articulation. Does this guy pose well? Well, let's find out. Double ball peg for the neck as usual. Ball peg at the top of the neck, I should say. Ball peg at the bottom of the neck, so he does look up pretty far. That should be fine for getting him into his Wolverine type poses. He can look down. You do get a little bit of a lollipop syndrome just because of the way the hair is sculpted. But yeah, it moves around pretty nicely. The ball pegs do their work. You can put them in attitudinal poses, which you cannot do with other types of joints. So cocking that head to the side at different angles really works nicely on ball pegs, and it works well on this figure. For the shoulder, luckily they did one of their more modern shoulders, which works pretty well. You get that butterfly joint that really lets the arm do what it needs to do. You can pose it around pretty well. Now, it's not like probably as good as Nightwing, I would say, but it does work nicely. I'd say Mafex has one of the best shoulder setups around. It's a pretty good system. It works pretty well. And then you have your ball peg and ball hinge, of course, to raise the arm up. Perfectly good range. A little bit of squeaking. I haven't been stuck yet, but be prepared to get the lube out. That does happen frequently with Mafex figures. And I'll put a link in the description or at the iCard or whatever they have going on nowadays on YouTube with my video about that, in case you don't know about that. But it does seem to work. I think most of the squeaking is happening up here, which shouldn't end up getting tighter, but we'll see. All right, bicep swivel is fine. Double jointed elbow, not the best range. It's just better than 90. And then let's see if we can get more if we start at the bottom. Yeah, maybe a touch, but yeah, you're going to be limited by that silver gauntlet thingy, if you want to call it that. And there's his other fist hand, by the way, to address that joke from earlier. And let's see if this side can pose a little bit better at the elbow. Yeah, it's a pretty tight bend. It's not like crazy or anything, but it works. Elbow coloring could be a little bit better, but it's not terribly noticeable. Well, I guess it is with the hair. I didn't notice it at first, but now I can't not notice it. That's not quite the right color. All right, let's see about the torso. Now the belt is a floaty belt in the front. Is it floaty in the back? It's not. I wish that they would do that. They always connect the belts in the back, and I don't like it. But you have your ball pegs in here, 2 up here, 1 at the bottom. Can he lean back? He can, but you have to lift his back over the belt. That's not really the way to do that, but it does work. He leans back well enough. It looks fine from the front, so that's okay. Leaning forward works surprisingly well. Believe it or not, action figures can lean forward. Hasbro and Todd, they can lean forward. Look at that. He can lean forward and it's not even gappy. So that's nice. And then going side to side, it works reasonably well. The rotation's fine. So that's a pretty good torso. I'll take it. For the legs, they do have drop downs, but they're well placed at the starting point, so that's good. Going forward with the drop down, gets them up nice and high as long as you squish that crotch piece. That's what she said. And bringing the leg back, you get a little bit. You have to use the drop down, but it's doable. Going out to the side, not full on splits, but that's plenty. That's pretty good. And then you're going to get your thigh swivel. Doesn't go too far out, just in. But so it's not like the best hips ever, but for a Mafex figure, they work plenty well. They work just fine. Double jointed knee works nicely. You can see Mafex usually screws up the proportioning, and maybe that's why this figure looks so good. The proportioning is very reasonable. This is about the same length as this. That's fine. That's going to work just fine. Ankles are on ball hinges. They're not super loose. They don't have a ton of range, but they are good enough, and you get your ankle rocker out of that, so that's good. Then let's see about the toe hinge. It is stuck. There we go. It is not a good toe hinge. Unfortunately, you can see you still have that wedge down there, which you should never have. You should never have that, but it is included. So yeah, his articulation is not the best ever, but it's certainly good enough. Nothing like glaringly obvious or detrimental. Could be better, but it's definitely fine. So I'll give him an 8 out of 10 for articulation. And now it's time for the final verdict. Is this the best Mafex figure ever? I don't know, probably not. It's definitely a good one though. I have no major gripes for this figure. It is a solid release. You know, there's a few nagging issues here and there, and you can pick your nits all you want, and that's what reviews are for, but it's overall a really, really good release. If you're at all inclined to get this, I recommend it fully. It's not perfect, that's not what that means, but it is really, really good. So I'm going to give it an overall rating of 9 out of 10. One of the better figures I've reviewed, at least from Mafex. Yeah, they're expensive, but this is a good one. I like it a bunch, and I'm curious what you guys think. So let me know in the comment section below, but that'll be it for me. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.